What's popping, y'all? It looks like Akademiks is getting busy when it comes to being outside, and a lot of the criticism that he was getting of him always being inside and never running into people is starting to run dry, because he ran into T-Rel of Figmunity World, formerly No Jumper employee, formerly, or had a podcast on No Jumper, formerly Last Kings, the clothing brand that was with Tyga, and they started getting into it for ridiculous reasons. So how it started between Akademiks and T-Rel is Akademiks got confronted at the Kendrick Lamar show when he went to Detroit, Michigan to watch it. So he went to watch the Kendrick Lamar show. He was with the security, and Kendrick Lamar's business partner Dave Free pulled up on him, as well as Anthony Saleh, who is Kendrick Lamar's manager, and they had this back and forth. They chopped it up. Somebody was recording it. They said, yo, like, all that stuff that you saying on the internet, is it personal? Is it just content? Is it business? What's the deal? Like, why don't you mess with us? It was a conversation. Most likely a heated conversation, but a lot of people said that he got pressed or he got marked out, as someone calling on the West Coast. One of those people that said that was T-Rel. So T-Rel's like, yo, you got marked out. This is what a mark out is. And Akademiks didn't like that. So he started going in on T-Rel, and he's like, yo, I got you. You guys are broke now. I'm the one that orchestrated you guys leaving No Jumper. And now look how well Adam is doing and look how poorly you're doing. When in reality, Akademiks was trying to get them out of there because he wanted Adam to fail, not because he wanted them to fail. He had issues with Adam 22 at that time. But what happens next is where it gets really greasy. Is Figmunity, number one, AD says that he's down to run the fade with Akademiks. Akademiks suddenly doesn't run fades anymore. When it's Rosenberg, he'll invite him over, even Meek Mill. But AD, yeah, he pretended he didn't see that, or he didn't address that. But also Akademiks said he didn't want to address any of these guys afterwards. But they started to go in, and I just don't like what they said in this clip and what they were trying to allude to. I'm going to play you guys that clip right now.
It's a small sample of what you got going on
in your brain.
So him
this
and
is
Adam,
how your brain
him
thinks.
and Adam have a lot in common.
Yeah.
Because Adam
They
did
like
that child
minors.
predator shit too.
Yeah.
And they want to these porn stars to cover up y'all sick fetish. Like, that's why they can't enough of them. They can't get enough of them because they're weird in the head. It's not exactly what they want. They want the little kid. That
Freak
shit
offs.
is sick.
So here, that's Heather, I believe that's Heather, T-Rel's wife, and they just started going in on Akademiks, saying like, yo, there was this, he's into non-legal, hell, in this case, it would be males and females. And I've criticized Ak for that situation he had with that kid Noor that was a mod for Blackboy Max. But what I've never done is try to lie or make it seem like, no, Akademiks is hunting after, basically Akademiks would end up in a pred catcher video. And that's what they're trying to put off here, because they also accuse Adam 22 of that, because Adam 22 had forum posts where he was talking about a 16 and like that. So there's, I guess you could say, there's stuff there, and I don't know if he engaged with the chick. Like I've heard so many stories about that thing, but they have that jacket, I guess if you want to call it, on Adam 22, and he's had to deal with that controversy multiple times. It damn near ruined him, I think, the second time. And so they're throwing that on Akademiks too, and it's like, damn, that's grimy. And they're puffing their chest out at Akademiks. I mean, AD, he was down to run the fade with him, and if AD ran into him in person, for sure, that's what would have been happening. But we get this clip of Akademiks in Turks and Caicos, and I don't know why everybody loves Turks. It's just a Caribbean island. It seems like one of those really, really expensive places because every rapper raps about it, but it's the same value that you could get for islands that nobody talks about. But the people go there because everyone else is there. So you're all going to the same. I personally don't get it. But hey, maybe it's just broke people things, right? And I'm not at that level to quite understand. That's possibly it. Yeah, I'm willing to accept. I'm willing to wear that jacket. So you see here, Akademiks is with T-Rel, and he's got T-Rel driving a boat. So I'm going to play you guys that clip right now.
On Twitter, don't believe the hype. I put my life on wax. I made it back in the same last
So here, yeah, he's doing the motions. He looks happy. They look buddy, and everybody's just looking around, scratching their heads. And by everybody, I mean us as the audience. We're like, whoa, hold on. Number one, how did you guys end up in the same place at the same time? Which was very weird. But then, of course, nobody finds this funnier than Adam 22, who hates T-Rel's guts. he absolutely cannot stand T-Rail. And he decides to talk about this multiple times, but he talks about it right here with Akademiks. He calls into the show, and I'm gonna play you guys that clip.
Respectful conversation with Dave Free. They said I got marked out. When I went there, I pulled up on him. Okay, even if T-Rail want to say he pulled up on me, we had you driving a boat in my section, smiling from ear to ear. Did you mark out? Apply the same concepts to yourself, or stop talking about it. Because at a certain point, I don't care what audience you have, they have to start to be like, yo, this shit don't make no sense.
Yeah, and when you look at like the back on Fig Reddit right now,
T-Rail accountable.
The back on Fig Reddit, I feel like you're seeing a sea change, even though they remove posts on there all the time. But a lot of the fans are just kind of realizing that T-Rail not really like that. But I mean, the one thing that I've always noticed about his girl and him in particular is that they really just like worship fame, and that's why when they see you in the club, all that they were talking, all that you're a predator, all that goes out the window, because to them it's like, oh, this is a famous person that we know, we could go stand next to him in the club. Like that is their one and only god, is fame. And by the way, I said this is the last thing on it. There was people with me, like even today I'm chilling, I'm like, oh, we're having fun, they brought it up. I'm chilling, I'm like, man, I was cool, whatever. I'm like, yo, because like we was on the boat the day after, I was like, I'm filming him, he filming me, like I'm not taking it. But people were next to me like, yo, bro, like, you know how many people we had there, like, was in our session. Why you ain't had us do something? And I was like, whoa, that's not me. And I got to make it very clear.
So the people was trying to press lines.
I would do nothing to nobody.
There it is.
But this is what that type of energy brings in, right? Because put it like this, they're looking at me like, nah, hold on, let me show you the video. This is what they said about you. They was calling you A, B, C, and D. Did you hear what she said? Bro, so they was mad at me because, like, I think when I described her, I don't know when I did, but they said, yo, bro, you described her, Heather, they said you described her as his beautiful wife. She said, you're the biggest, like, I was like, I never saw that. So they were telling me, like, bro, why didn't you just tell us to do? And I'm like, bro, that's not me. And this is where I'm like,
nah, dog, this is crazy. And this goes beyond any like gangster related thing, because there's also this controversy surrounding T-Rail right now where a bunch of gang members called the Hoovers want, like, not claim to his platform, but they want more support. They want to get put on. They want to get assisted because they feel like he's using their memorabilia, their copyright, which isn't copyrighted, of the color scheme and where he grew up, etc., especially within LA. And they're like, yo, you're not tapping in with us. So people feel like they're trying to extort him. T-Rail's really not trying to mess with them. So it turns into this whole gangster stuff. But like some people are trying to portray it as like, yo, you're a gangster. You got to do something in this situation. Like, this is embarrassing that you're there taking a drink from him. The way that I see it is, let's throw all the gangster stuff out the window, dog. If you genuinely believe that this guy, and it's not that he believes it, but even if you said out of your mouth that you don't like a guy enough, that you're willing to throw a tag on his jacket, you're down to put a scarlet letter on him for the most heinous thing you can be accused of, and then you run into him in a separate country. I'm not saying you gotta go run down on him, and here Akademiks is saying that he pulled up on him. Now he's also leaving it open to be like, well, or let's just say he pulled up on me, but how did you pull up on him if you were at your section? I don't know. Maybe he pulled up to him and then invited him there. Who knows? But in this situation, Akademiks also got a private jet to go out there. So I'm going to play you guys that clip. Adam22 let us know about that too.
Looking at Instagram over the weekend, I'm seeing the Ak flew to Turks and Caicos on a private jet with security and a bunch of what appears to me to be Persian women. Now, he flies out there and whatever. I'm watching him on his story, and he's doing his thing every single night. He's on the couch, standing up in the club, listening to music. And guess who he runs into? T-Rail, who just so happens to be on the same exact island in the same exact club. Now, my paranoid brain thinks maybe this is not a coincidence, because that's a weird coincidence.
You think he vacation sniped him?
Do I think that Akademiks may have had secret access to T-Rail's travel plans? I at least thought about it. because it is such a weird.
It's funny because Akademiks was kind of going viral on Twitter because people they were just disgusted that they saw chicks with him. But when Adam22 says it looks like they're Persian, I think that explains everything. Like, it's an if you know type of thing with the Persian. But in this situation, I do think that was a crazy coincidence. But he pulls up there with security. So maybe he did like step to T-Rail and he had security with him. But Akademiks also tells a story later on that, these people wanted to go do something about it. So that doesn't seem like regular security. If people are like, this guy was talking about you like this, you should have had us do XYZ. That sounds like not homie security, but that doesn't sound like an off-duty police officer or whatever the situation was in that case. But with T-Rail, this was unfortunate because he also ran into T-Rail on a boat, and Adam22 is really pocket watching, and we come to find out that he was rolling with Paul Pierce. So he was on Paul Pierce's boat and they saw each other again. But going back to the most important point here is, if you don't mess with somebody, you do not end up in this situation. And letting him record you as well, like you're taking a drink from the guy, you're smiling, you're enjoying yourself, you're cheesing. This looks like an absolute humiliation for any grown man whatsoever. It doesn't matter if you're a gangster, it doesn't matter if you're a prisoner, it doesn't matter if you're a Poindexter. I cannot fathom how this happened unless it was a Dax, Tory Lanez type situation. So that's where I'm going to point it out to, like, maybe I'm giving T-Rail an out here. Maybe because the Dax, Tory Lanez situation is Tory Lanez was taking, not fades, but he was taking friendly battles with anybody in the rap game. Like, I think this was 2016, maybe 17, and one of the people he went back and forth with was Joyner Lucas. But Dax, he wanted to join in, so Dax drops a diss towards Tory Lanez, and then Tory Lanez pulls up on Dax with a camera recording him, and behind that camera is a hammer, not the one that hits the nails. It's a burner. And he's like, you gotta apologize. And you see Dax shook and apologizing, and then he does a no jumper interview right after talking about the situation. So unless that's going on, this is an absolute humiliation. It would have been better if T-Rail just left the club and Akademiks was like, I ran him out the club. And then, at that point you could say, like, especially if you're non-gangsta, you could just be like, hey, look, we're in a different country. I don't like that individual. He was trying to start a situation. So I got out of there. I did the mature thing. People hate Akademiks enough to where if you say that, they'd be like, oh no, we understand. You was just taking the mature route. Now Akademiks is trying to bully people outside. But this, man, this doesn't look good for those guys. I would say it kind of looks good for Ak because he almost looks like the bigger person because they threw this crazy stuff on you and you're just killing them with kindness. Shout out to Selena Gomez. Great song, by the way. You should check that out if you haven't already. Now, you guys have definitely heard that song. So it looks like you're killing them with kindness, but really you're humiliating them. It's similar to, I feel like, Vlad having Lord Jamar back on his platform. It sounds like you're giving him a shot, helping him out, but you're really humiliating him in front of everybody. But let me know what y'all think about this in the comments. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed, and I'm going to see you on the next one.